Think of a behavior that your child, especially if you have a teenager, has that's driving you crazy, that you would love to just like almost squeeze out of them, right? Like that you're just like, this has to stop. This is ridiculous. It's driving me crazy. Maybe they're spending money in a way that you don't like. Maybe they're eating junk food like all the time, and you ask them to eat a fruit or vegetable, you'd think you were killing them. Maybe they're so attached to a screen that they're just constantly looking at it, and you're like, oh my God, or they're staying up too late, or they're whatever the thing is. There's always something we can find with our kids that drives us a little bit crazy, almost always. So think of that behavior and then think of how you've been responding to it and how your response has been shaping your relationship with your child. Maybe now it's just creating more tension, more distance, more disconnection. And here's what I want to ask you. If nothing ever changes with your child, if they always keep doing the exact same thing they're doing now, how do you want to be? How do you want to show up in your relationship with them? How do you want them to look at this and be like, man, even though I was going through this, in my life, here's how my parents showed up. Here's how they were when I was going through all that. Maybe their room's always a disaster. Maybe they don't want to help around the house, whatever it was, that while they're being teenagers or being kids, who do you want to be if nothing changes? Because ultimately, think of how hard it is to change yourself anyway, right? We all have things about ourselves we want to change, and it can be a struggle. So if it's hard enough to change ourselves, someone we have complete power and control over, whether or not we exercise it, think of how much harder it is to change another person. And the reality is, I hate to break this to you, we can't actually control our kids. Unless we are physically taking their hands and moving them to do something, we have no actual way of controlling our kids. That is some kind of myth. I don't know who came up with that BS, but it's actual bullshit. We cannot control our children. So the key question is, if nothing ever changes, who do you want to be? How do you want to show up in your relationship with your child? That is what you have control over.